Hello and welcome to This Week in Destiny for the week commencing November 15th, 2022. First up, we have our featured Nightfall of the week, which will be the Glassway over on Europa, where you have a chance to get a Pinnacle engram if you complete the Nightfall with a score of 100k or more. This is one of the best places to get high-end gear for your characters, including the Nightfall featured weapon, exotic gear, enhancement cores, enhancement prisms, and ascendant shards. The higher the Nightfall difficulty, the more common the drops will be, with the featured weapon and exotic gear being uncommon in hero difficulty while being common with ascendant shards in Grandmasters. Legend and lower Nightfalls will have 4 barrier champions and 8 overloads, with 3 solar, 12 arc, and 5 void shields. Your masters and GMs will have 12 barriers and 14 overloads, with 3 solar and 8 arc shields. Your Grandmaster modifiers will be barrier and overload champions, which cannot be stopped without the correct mods equipped. Arachno, when defeated, vandals spawn a web mine under their feet. Chaff, your radar is disabled. Grandmaster modifiers are contest, join in progress disabled, locked loadout, match game, and extra shields. Match game, enemy shields are highly resistant to all unmatched elemental damage. Equipment locked, you will not be able to change your equipment after this activity starts. Extinguish, if your fire team falls in a restricted zone, everyone is returned to orbit. Limited fireteam revives. Gain additional revives by defeating champions, 20 max. Champions Mob. This mode contains additional champions. And Belmont's algorithm. Incoming void and aerial damage increased. This is the only Nightfall of the season which has a void burn instead of arc, so be very careful with the wyverns in the final encounter. The power requirement for the season to enter the GMs are 1595 light, which is also what your power is capped at, and enemies will be at 1620. Your anti-champion artifact mods for this week are Anti-Barrier Auto Rifle and Scout for 1 energy, and further over we have Sniper for 6. Overloads are Bow and Machine Guns for 1 energy, and Arc Grenade mod, Surge Detonators for 2 energy. You also have exotic weapons and armor that can help with intrinsic mods as well. So for anti-barrier, we have the kinetic bow, Wish Ender, the kinetic linear fusion rifle, Arbalist, the solar energy hand cannon, Ariana's Vow, the solar heavy sword, the Lament, and the Titan exotic gauntlets, Second Chance, which gain a second charge of your shield throw melee, which becomes shield piercing and stuns barrier champions. For overload, we have Void Energy Bow, Le Monarch, the Arc Energy Linear Trace Rifle, Divinity, the Arc Heavy Machine Gun, the Thunderlord, and the Warlock Exotic Boots, the Seekin Filaments, which when you drop an Empowering Rift, any weapon that is fired from inside the well will cause an Overload champion to be stunned. The feature weapon to obtain this week is the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Hand Cannon, D.F.A. Firing at 140 rounds per minute, it has a base impact of 84, a range of 45, a stability of 54, and a handling of 42. With a zoom of 14 and a high aim assist of 77. It can roll with Opening Shot, Rampage, Timed Payload, and Vorpal, with Triple Tap, Tunnel Vision, and Perpetual Motion. It has the origin traits Stunning Recovery, where if you stun a champion, you partially refill the magazine, trigger health regen, and improves your recovery for a short duration, and Vanguard's Vindication, where final blows with the weapon grant a small amount of health. Next up, Lord Shaxx brings back Momentum Control to the Crucible for this upcoming week.
Delightful!
Momentum Control is a 6v6 PvP mode, which is a variation of regular control, where every weapon is significantly higher in lethality, meaning that you can take out your opponents much faster than normal. Respawns are instant, and defeating enemy players in Momentum Control grants faster ability regen for your melee, grenade, and your super. Players get increased damage resistance when they activate a super, to help counteract that bit of extra damage that guns give out. The mode also has increased capture speed on points, and radar is removed for every player. Achieve victory by capturing the zones and defeating opponents. And Baraka's Forge, Lord Saladin, returns to the tower for the final time this season, bringing with him the Iron Banner. This is a week-long free-to-play Crucible event, which means there will be no Trials of Osiris at the weekend. Your power level is disabled, meaning you can go into Iron Banner with whatever weapons and armor you like. Iron Banner also brings with it challenges and a seal to become an Iron Lord. This season sees the new game mode Iron Banner Eruption. Now Eruption is Clash with energy boosts based on kill streaks, like a mini version of Mayhem. During Eruption, killing your opponent will score 1 point and a normal amount of ability energy. After that, when you get your second elimination in a row without dying, assists count 2, you become Surging. You start lightly glowing, kills start generating 10% super energy and 20% grenade, melee, and class energy, and you score 2 points per kill. When you get your 5th kill without dying, you become Primed. You begin glowing brightly, your team goes on the hunt. Everyone on your team gains 5% super, 10% grenade, melee, and class energy, and you now gain 12% super and 40% grenade, melee, and class energy per kill. You score 3 points per kill. At 5 kills, you receive a 15-second timer on you. Now if that timer reaches 0, you erupt. Erupting kills you, which resets your streak and ends the hunt. Getting a kill resets your eruption timer back to 15 seconds. You are also marked for both teams so everyone can see right where you are. The other team gets 3 points for killing you, and more than one player can be primed at any time. Now each day for 4 days for each character, from Tuesday reset, Lord Saladin will give you the opportunity to receive a Pinnacle reward. By hovering over the Iron Banner node in the director, it will tell you how many games you need to play and with what subclass you need to equip to complete it. You can either play each day and collect each Pinnacle, or you can wait until Friday reset and play all the games you need to receive all 4 in one go. This season, you will need to complete matches with Arc or Stasis subclass, from 3 for your first Pinnacle, and up to 18 games in total for all 4 Pinnacles. As a reminder, Pinnacle rewards will give you +5 to your power level if you are below the power cap of 1570, but if you are at 1570, the Pinnacle will give you +2 in light. Players can rank up with Lord Saladin to receive rewards from his reward track, and equipping any Iron Banner armor, ornament, or weapon, plus your Iron Banner emblem, will progress your progress faster in ranking up. This is multiplied if you complete the daily Pinnacle challenges as well. Iron Banner gear or ornaments, 200% for all 5 gear pieces. Your Iron Banner daily challenge, 100% per challenge, 400% for all challenges, and Iron Banner emblems, 10%. For the Iron Banner gear boost requirement, all 5 pieces must be equipped as gear or ornaments for it to take effect. Each match will see you earning more towards reputation. Wins will earn you a small bonus based on your current Iron Banner rank. This week will be your last chance to grab the Forge's Pledge Adaptive Frame Pulse Rifle, which has a base impact of 29, range of 38, and stability of 52, aim assist of 61, and an RPM of 390. And the Reese Walker Lightweight Frame Shotgun, which has a base impact of 65, range of 45, stability of 43, and handling of 71. All Iron Banner weapons, including these two, have the Skulking Wolf Origin perk. While at low health, Guardian Final Blows with this weapon grant enhanced radar and remove you from opposing radar. This week we'll also see the return of double XP in the Crucible, which is across all modes including the Iron Banner. So if you still need to get your Cry Mutiny Grenade Launcher and ornament from resetting your Crucible rank with Shaxx, this would be the time to do it this season. The Pinnacle dungeon for the week will be the Shattered Throne on the Dreaming City. And for your Pinnacle raid will be the Deepstone Crypt on Europa, where you can farm for the exotic rocket launcher Eyes of Tomorrow. Next up, challenges. We have now had all 78 challenges over the period of the last 10 weeks, so as a reminder, if you complete 75 of the 78 available for the season, you can get a large pile of Bright Dust to spend at the Eververse store in-game. Speaking of Bright Dust, on to our Eververse for the week of November 15th, 2022. Available this week for Bright Dust, we have the Nucleus Exotic Ghost Shell for 2850 Bright Dust, the Scene Clapper Legendary Emote for 700 Bright Dust, the Splicer Gauntlet Ghost Projection for 1500 Bright Dust, the Amethyst Bloom Shader for 300 Bright Dust. The Gong Show Exotic Emote is available this week for 3250 Bright Dust, the Coiffure Correction Legendary Emote for 700 Bright Dust, the Additive Exotic Ghost Shell for 2850 Bright Dust, the Telisserate Visitor Exotic Sparrow for 2500 Bright Dust, the Junkyard Navigator Exotic Ship for 2000 Bright Dust, the Muspel Populux Exotic Ornament for the Jotun will be 1250 Bright Dust, and rounding out the Bright Dust offerings in the Eververse store will be the Rasputin Ghost Projection for 1500 Bright Dust. And then finally, the Lost Sector rotation for next week.
Hello!
Your daily lost sector will show you a flag outside which will give you details of the champions and burns you'll find inside. But if you're new to the game, or you're using an alternate character and can't find the flag outside, you'll have to run through the lost sector normally to have it show up on your map as a legend/master. For Tuesday, November 15th will be the Skydock 4 on the EDZ for exotic chests, Void Elemental Shields, Solar Burn with an Unstoppable and Barrier champions. Wednesday, November 16th will be the Scavenger's Den on the EDZ for exotic helmets, Arc Elemental Shields, Solar Burn with Overload and Barrier champions. Thursday, November 17th will be the Quarry on the EDZ for exotic boots, Solar and Void Elemental Shields, Void Burn with Unstoppable and Barrier champions. Friday, November 18th will be the Excavation Site 12 on the EDZ for exotic gauntlets, Arc Elemental Shields, Solar Burn with Unstoppable and Barrier champions. Saturday, November 19th will be the Concealed Void on Europa for exotic chests, Solar and Void Elemental Shields, Solar Burn with Overload and Barrier champions. Sunday, November 20th will be the Bunker E15 on Europa for exotic helmets, Void Elemental Shields, Void Burn with Overload and Barrier champions. And finally, back round to Monday, November 21st will be Perdition on Europa for exotic boots, Arc and Void Elemental Shields, Arc Burn with Overload and Barrier champions. And that's it for this week in Destiny, starting 15th November 2022. A big thank you to Kyber's Corner for Nightfall information, Today in Destiny and Eververse for Lost Sector information, and Light.gg for the challenges. You will find all the links in the description below, and a like and follow would be appreciated. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Telesto. I am in control. I am in control. Telesto. I am in control.